And you'll see I grabbed information from a past meeting of yours. You can enter the content here for easy review as well as attachments. With the attachments, that will simply open through Board Docs. You don't have to have an Adobe Reader, and I can easily pivot back to my agenda. As a board member, I also can go in and take notes on a particular agenda item. This way, during the meeting, you can easily navigate back to where you had any questions or comments. Also, you'll see you can view the minutes for that particular meeting. You can also add video. Other items you have access to, all of your policies will be housed here. You can go in and preview the policy that you're looking for, or perhaps I'm not quite sure where to find it. I can do a quick keyword search, and not only is that going to search through the title of that policy, but also the text body. In your library, you have access to any historic content, any documents that your administrative team has loaded here. But this is also where you will find the option for goal tracking. As I mentioned, that can be particular board goals, and you'll have the progress you've made here. You can link those to all of the agenda items that are relevant. And if you would like to gather more information on a particular item, you could simply click in and navigate there. As I mentioned before, accreditation standards are a common use case for other community college districts, and you can also link those to particular agenda items so that when you need to gather evidence, it's easy to go back and find them. Searchability, another key benefit of the system. You can decide if you're searching through meetings, policies, any attachments that are PDFs. If you're wondering during a meeting when you passed a particular resolution or a particular contract, I'm typing in a pretty generic word here, but clearly if you remember the name of the device or a few phrases there, it'll be much easier to find. You can also go in and preview those items. And what you'll see here is searching the text body of that PDF. We also can navigate there and go back to the agenda item. So the other item I want to show you guys is the way you can do voting. I will log back in as an administrator, but any questions thus far?
I had some questions too, but I don't know how much more there is, but it's about the system. So I can address them now, or
how much more do you
You
have?
can go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. As a board member, if I'm taking notes on an agenda, are those retained over time so that I can go back to an agenda from the past and capture my notes, and are they time-stamped? Number two, is there offline access so that I open the board docs and then I get on a plane and I want to review the board book and take notes? Is that available? And is this available in an app so that I could use it on a tablet as well as a notebook?
So that's all great questions. The first piece, your notes will be retained and it will date those of when you took those notes. So you could add new notes and it would change and update those, so you can always retain those over time. Offline capability is something that comes along with an app, and that is something that we are in the process of developing right now. It is on the roadmap. Something I did not mention early on is Board Docs became part of a company called Diligent a couple years back, and Diligent is the leading provider of board software to the for-profit world. And our board just approved a huge spend on products, so some of the upcoming items on the roadmap are apps, and with that, offline access, as well as another item we're looking into is having the ability to add public comment within the platform.
And so then just one question about that. I get a login as a board member, I keep it. I leave the board, I want to access some historical information. Will I be able to retain that login and information?
So some of that will have to do with the discretion of your leadership team. If they've removed your login, you will always have access to the public-facing information. So if you're looking to have access to the historic information that is only visible to board members, that's likely something you would need to request unless that's something they are okay with. But you will always have access to the public-facing side, which has any of the content that's not in closed session.
Member Anderson?
And where will the information be from closed session? Will it be in the same format?
It will. So when we go into our agenda here, the access can be restricted to private, and you have content areas for administrative and executive. So it would be under those areas, generally, and under the executive content is where we see the closed session information.
Member Zaragoza?
Do members of the public have to create a login in order to view the agenda and minutes?
They do not. So if we were to log out here and enter the public site, and this would be linked directly to your web page, they would have access to go in, click right into that meeting, view the agenda and minutes right from there. There's no login needed.
Member Costa? Oh, that was your question.
So if you take notes, will those be disclosed on a PRA?
That is a great question. And that is something I'll need to double check with our legal team and what they've done in the past. So I'll follow up with Araceli on that.
I'll just say that will depend on the content of notes, and we'd have to do an individualized assessment on those notes if there was a PRA request.
If there are notes within an executive session, a closed session, then likely not. But if they're part of an open session, then
I just think from a policy standpoint, whatever those are, they should be communicated to us so that everyone putting notes in there will understand what it actually means and what, unlike writing in your book and taking it home, what that means to us going forward.
This call may be recorded for note-taking and coaching purposes.
What other questions can?
I have a follow-up on the idea that these are that you have to be online in order to access this, and I guess the answer was no, you can't be offline. Are you able to download documents from Board Docs onto your computer so that you can look at them when you're offline, or is it prohibited from doing that?
So in general, it's not a best practice of what we see, and when those are entered as a PDF, you are still viewing those online. If those are entered in their native format rather than a PDF by your administrators, of course, you will download to your computer. I will also mention, though, you can access through your phone, through a tablet. Of course, you would need to be connected to data or Wi-Fi, but the screen size will render to that device and also still be easy to access.
So how long do you think it will be until users of this would have the ability to work offline? And you said that's in the works, but is that like 2 years away, 3 months away?
Yeah. That's a good question, and it's certainly a question I don't want to answer for our product team, and that development is quite a process. But what I would say, where I'd feel comfortable saying, is within the next 12 to 20 months. I don't know if that will be sooner at this point.
I can say as a user myself, the Board of Regents uses Diligent Board Docs, and when I was at Long Beach, we used a similar product. At any time, you can access the agenda through either the public site or other, and you can download the agenda. I do that all the time if I want it available to me, offline. I will download the agenda. I will print whatever section I want to print because, we all love to look at paper.
Yep.
So that's the way that I've been able to get around the challenge of not, obviously if you're on a plane, Wi-Fi goes out and you haven't downloaded, and then yes, that's a problem. But otherwise, you have the ability always, once it's posted, the agenda is posted, you can go on and print or download a document.
And to that, I just wanted to add that underneath your board book is a printout of the agenda straight from the Board Docs platform. And if we need just a transitionary period, we can still do that. I don't mind doing that.
Yes, correct. So you can print right from here, and you can decide if you have your basic agenda, which you always can print, or your detailed agenda, which will also have the more detailed content here. And you can decide whether that's printing as separate pages for the agenda items or one large document. You have some options there.
Vice President Haynes?
So thank you. I'm familiar with Board Docs, and I know you have the note-taking section. Will you be adding the functionality of highlighting and underlining in any future
Yes,
updates?
that is also another piece that is on the roadmap. And as I mentioned before, it was just about a month ago our board approved a several $1 million spend on product development, and so that was something when we were first acquired that was slower moving and now is moving more quickly with the approval of that reinvestment. But that is certainly a piece that has been requested by a lot of our users.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Member Fong.
I guess this question is for the Chancellor, for us here. Does that mean that each of our seats here will be equipped with a laptop or a computer so we can access this while the meeting is going on?
So there are a couple of different ways that we can handle this. If you have an iPad or a laptop that you use regularly, you can access it there. We can also discuss whether we make available to all the board members a district-owned iPad. Some districts have done it that way. So there's a couple of different ways that we could do it. It just depends on where the board is. Long Beach City College, all the board members got a district-issued iPad. Board of Regents, you bring your own piece of equipment, whichever one you like best.
Member Walker Griffin.
Thank you, President Epstein, and to the voice in the sky. I was wondering if these documents online, could you view them in a different language?
Right now, there's not a translation within the platform. And the reason for that is any tools, Google Translate, don't tend to be very accurate. And so we wouldn't want to provide that for, public documents and record.
Thank you.
Member Bao.
What is the cost of this service? And if we have to think about it too, does that also, should we anticipate a cost in equipment to support the service?
Good question.
We received a proposal from Board Docs, and the one that we have is at $17,500 annually, and that's for an unlimited number of seats.
And something else to mention on the pricing, you guys do receive a pretty significant discount through CCLC, so that is certainly a benefit of being a member.
If the board decides to purchase iPads, which are the most typical device, we can certainly come back with a price, but you can just estimate around $600 an iPad, somewhere in that range. I think Member Rawlings can get us a discount.
Okay, any other board comments? Any public comments? Okay, this is an action item. If we choose to go forward with board docs, we need a motion and a second.
So move.
Anderson and Rawlings.
With the commentary that for those who don't already have iPads or devices, that somehow
That will have
the
to be.
device can be made
Won't that
available.
have to be a second motion?
Well, what we would want to do, why don't we do this, if it's direction of the board, we can come back with a cost estimate on a device specific. I would say if we purchase a device for some of the board members, that we just go ahead and purchase it for all the board members. That way it's consistent and the operating systems are consistent. That would be my recommendation. But we'd be happy to come back with an estimate.
Okay, no discussion. Any other discussion on the item? Could you call the roll?
Darius Anderson,
Yes.
Arnaldo Avalos, Jeffrey Baum,
Aye.
Connie Conway, Amy Costa, Tom Epstein,
Aye.
Jolena Grande,
Aye.
Pam Haynes,
Aye.
Mon Fon,
Aye.
Bill Rawlings,
Yes.
Valerie Shaw, Blas Villalobos, and Alexander Walker Griffin.
Aye.
I will add to Trustee Anderson's point earlier, if it's a district-provided device, anything on that device is subject to public records request.
So for some of us, could we opt out of that and use our own then?
I did want to make one final comment, which I was impressed with the board docs logo, which is a growing tree, I guess, which symbolizes the saving of trees for not having to make all these board packets out of paper. So very relevant.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for having me today, and I will sign off if there's no further need for me on this end.
I think it's fine for you to go.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. We're looking forward to working with you soon.
And Tom,
Member
not to
Baum?
open the door to something, but some districts have offered to provide a paper version of the agenda on request to individual board members. Will we still have that option?
Certainly, as long as you get the request into Araceli in a reasonable amount of time, and for those of you who are a little bit technology impaired, we'd be happy to support you.
I call it technologically challenged. Yeah. Okay, unless there's any further business, we have a general comment, or is this for this meeting? Yes. Okay, we have one public comment from the usual suspect.
Yeah. From John.
Good morning, Board of Trustees. I am still John Stanskas from the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges. And I did want to ask for something unusual. I think the Chancellor's comments about how this college and district is different than the other 114 is well taken and important to consider. It is still a college in the California community colleges, and I would ask that you agendize for your January meeting the topic of the governance structure of the online college over the next 5 years of transition until such a time as you have permanent employees who organize themselves and provide the college its feedback and participates in the life of the state development of generating feedback to the Board of Governors separately. And the reason I'm doing that is I have been directed by the delegates of the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges that represents all community colleges at their last meeting passed a resolution unanimously for me to bring that to you. And I will have to bring it to you again this afternoon in a different hat. That the Academic Senate is prepared to engage in this work, and that we agree that figuring out ways to serve all of California to the best of our ability is a worthy endeavor. And I asserted this in September and in July with the governor here, that we may have had disagreements while the policy was crafted, but now that it's crafted, we're done. And it's our job to represent the voice of faculty in this matter. And so that is the direction that the Academic Senate has received from the colleges, and I am bringing that to you. I did ask Christina to forward that to you as the Board of Trustees so that you, if you want to read over it, you can.
30 seconds.
And lastly, if we could just be included in the notification of when meetings will take place, it would make my life much easier to schedule childcare. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further business of the Board of Trustees? Oh, yeah, member, Vice President Haynes wants to reply to Mr. Stanskus.
So it's a general observation, and while I appreciate that there's obviously a need for a governance structure, I actually believe it's a bit premature to sort of talk about a governance structure over the next 5 years without a CEO. And it's a conversation that we absolutely have to have. I would support that, but for me as a member of this board, we really need to put into place the leadership of this online college, and I don't. For me, I don't want to step so much forward beyond that particular hire that we get at cross purposes with the faculty and the field with comments or observations that may not ring true as we really stand this college up. So that's just my perspective. I think we need it, but I think we need to make certain that we have the right people having that conversation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for coming, and with that, we will adjourn.